This is a special day for Mom and Dad, and I'd like to say a few words about them and the life they have shared together. Everyone here knows them well, but I thought I'd start a little bit about their backgrounds. This is the kind of information you can only glean, for instance, when people reminisce while sitting around together at a dinner table, which Mom always made us do. Dad is the oldest of 3 children, 1 brother and 1 sister. As far as I can tell, my grandfather was in World War II, served in the Army, and worked many years for the Army Corps of Engineers. He was a photographer and set in his ways. My grandmother, on the other hand, was generous, giving, funny lady who spoke her mind and knew no strangers. They lived on the west side of Jacksonville in the Fishware area. My dad attended Fishware Elementary, Lakeshore Junior High, and Robert E. Lee High School. He had a hard life growing up as the eldest, but he made the best of what he had. Dad was helping his family at a young age. At 16 years of age, he joined the Marine Corps. He worked many jobs, including driving for a funeral home, which I thought was strange. I know I couldn't have dealt with picking up dead bodies. He once told me a story about a deceased person he had to pick up and put in the back of the hearse. He was driving down the road, and all of a sudden the person sat up. I would have freaked out and crashed the car, but not my dad. He kept on driving. Dad was employed by Union Camp for many years while we were growing up. I remember all the times we would pick him up because we had only 1 car. Remember those days? Oh, and that place stunk. Dad worked shift work, so he slept at odd times too. But we were always quiet and knew not to disturb him, or he would be a grumpy bear. Dad left Union Camp and worked many other jobs to provide for our family. My dad has always been a hard worker and has provided the very best for us. As for Mom, she was born in Jacksonville too. She has 2 younger sisters and an older brother, a terror. Her mother was a native of West Florida, Laurel Hill. Her dad was from Georgia, I think, and he was in the Navy. She grew up with her mother's parents nearby, and they helped out a lot. Mom went to Brentwood Elementary, John Gordy Junior High, and Andrew Jackson High School. She lived a few doors down from my dad's mom. That's how they met. My dad's sister, Diane, introduced my mom to my dad while he was home from the Marine Corps. My dad was a handsome Marine in that uniform, and I'm sure my mom was a gleaming 16-year-old. I'm not sure about the details of their courtship, but I do know my dad gave her a silver ring with hearts engraved on it as a promise ring before they got married. On October 21st, 1961, they tied the knot. They were married at a relative's house. Mom had just turned 16 when she married my dad. Dad was 19 years old. They were very young, but very much in love and determined to have a good life. 3 years later, in 1964, I was born, when Mom was 18 years old. Mom really wanted to have a baby bad, and she was excited when she was pregnant with me. Dad wasn't around much, but I'm sure he was happy when I was born on his birthday, August 6th, 22nd birthday. We lived many different places in Jacksonville, but I remember living on Lexington Avenue, the hardwood floors, and our dog Heidi. Dad loved to walk, and we would walk to the Roosevelt Mall, go to the drugstore, eat and drink a Coke, then look at the swans in the pond. We enjoyed our walks. When I would get tired, he would put me on his shoulders and carry me home. Mom always made us a hot breakfast and sewed nice things for me. She kept a clean house, and I'm sure she made sure I knew how to clean too. She worked for an insurance company until my brother Scott was born on August 5th, 1969. A birthday present to me and my dad. Shortly after we moved to Appleton Avenue, where we grew up, riding our bikes, building forts, climbing trees, and having rabbits for pets and Candy, our dog. Mom and Dad were always there for us. Dad worked long hours, but Mom worked at JCPenney selling men's suits part-time, so she would be home when we were home from school. Our vacation time, we'd usually go to Lake Ware. We'd rent a trailer and spend time with our cousins, aunts, and uncles, and go water skiing. Once we went to the mountains to go camping, and Mom kept her eyes closed the entire time as Dad drove through the mountain roads. She was afraid of heights and of falling rocks. Go figure. Dad let us do things Mom would never have allowed. We could sit in his lap while he drove the car. He would let us eat junk when we wanted to, and he would let us wrestle in the house. Matter of fact, we would try to get by with something by asking Dad because we knew Mom would always say no. I think he knew that because after a while he would just tell us to ask our Mom. They were always a team. While Dad worked a lot, Mom did everything necessary to run the house. She worked in the yard, grew tomatoes, strawberries, and looked after us all and the kids in and out of the house. She would make us our favorite lunches, bologna sandwiches and Kool-Aid, and she made the best spaghetti. Mom sewed for us all the years we were growing up. She made my dresses, our Halloween costume. She sewed on our grandmother's old Singer sewing machine, and she would repair our clothes too. She was very creative and active in our school. She was served as PTA president and helped me sell over 500 Girl Scout cookies one year. She was our cheerleader and our dad's too. They were quite a couple. They made most decisions together and rarely argued in front of us. Dad loves watching movies, and some I'm sure my mom didn't care for. But Mom sat next to Dad on the couch just to be near him. I think one of the sweetest things my dad does for my mom is to drive her to the grocery store. However, my dad is a speed demon, and there would have been a few times when I'm sure my mom wished she would have driven herself. My mom is an excellent cook and had always cooked what my dad wanted to eat. She has always kindly fixed his dinner plate and brought it to him to the table. Once when Mom was out of town, he came over to eat at my house. I had fixed dinner and left it on the stove. I looked and my dad was sitting at the table with no plate. Poor Dad. I told him he had to get up and fix his own plate. Mom wasn't there to fix it. Mom has spoiled my dad. However, over the years he has learned how to vacuum and maybe even do a dish or two. They are an old-fashioned couple. They depend on each other and love each other deeply. They enjoy going out to eat now and ordering off the senior menu to save money. Heck, they even can order off their senior menu for me at their favorite restaurant. They know what each other is thinking before each other even has to say it. My parents grew up together and have grown older together. They have 3 grandchildren, Tiffany, Amy, Ethan, and a wonderful grandson by marriage, Matthew, and now a great-grandson, Jacob. Now that Mom has not been working, she has had the wonderful privilege of watching Ethan and Jacob. I think it is about time she was able to enjoy the fruits of her labor. Dad is about to retire soon at the end of this year. Maybe Mom will show him how to use the computer while he is retired. She's become quite savvy with email and all. I hope they will take the time to travel and enjoy each other's company because they deserve it. They have worked hard all their lives, and at this time in their life, they need rest. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for being the wonderful parents you are to Scott and me. Thank you for being an example of hard work and perseverance. We love you very much and are proud you are our parents. Of course, this is only the briefest possible summation of 50 years together. 50 years of marriage is a remarkable accomplishment, and any long-lasting marriage is always the result of a lot of commitment, patience, tolerance, and love. All of us are here to offer our congratulations to you at this special time. To Sharon and Jimmy, congratulations on your 50th wedding anniversary.